Casino games. So you had found a lot of these on eBay, and we thought it'd be interesting to look at them because they're kind of like a forgotten relic of this time.
From like the early 90s to like the early 2000s, you know?
4 of them are produced by Radica Games. One of them is
Tiger Electronics,
which is like a direct competitor of Radica Games.
Yeah.
And then we have one that's produced by
TechnoSource. 2 of them are basically the same. So Color Poker and Pocket Deuces are essentially the same game, except, you know, Color Poker is in color. It has like these little slivers of colored film on the screen, and that gives off the color effect. But
and because of that, it actually makes it more difficult to see than the non-color version.
The screen is darker.
Yeah, and we'll mention this about each device, but the Color Poker has this really weird form to it, and I'm not sure if it's to like fit into the palm of both of your hands more easily, but like it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's this weird like oblong.
And it wouldn't fit in your pocket,
no.
You know, easier than the other one at least.
The whole point of these is portability. Whereas the Pocket Deuces is like this perfect like rectangular shape. It's easy to see the screen. All of these have LCD screens. So it does kind of like stunt the portability of it whenever you have to look at the screen a certain way, because you can't like tilt it without seeing like all of the possible like. But I mean, if you've handled any calculator, like you know what these screens are like.
I guess the good thing about that kind of screen is whenever you put batteries in them, it'll just last forever.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Yeah.
So those 2 are the same. We have a pocket slot, which is essentially a slot machine. Super simple. You just hit the spin button and, you know, how much you want to bet. And it's really all by chance.
It's not just the simplest of each of these devices by the game and the functionality, but also like the portability of it.
It's the smallest.
It's this perfect like rectangle shape that you can just put in your pocket. I mean, like this would fit in anyone's pockets.
We also have Blackjack 21. It's basically just regular blackjack. Whoever can get 21 or as close to 21 as possible wins. An interesting thing about it is that the sticker on the device itself says that the dealer will stand at 17, meaning that, let's say he hit 17 and you hit 19, he won't even try to pass you. Like, he won't even try to win.
Yeah, which you think, like, in theory would make it easier.
I had lost like 6 in a row.
Yeah.
I handed it to you, you won 6 you won 6 in a row. So the Blackjack 21 is my personal favorite out of these.
Yeah. And now we kind of have like the grail out of all of these portable games. This is the 5-in-1 Caesar's Palace portable casino game. It comes with Stars and Stripes slots, deluxe diamond slots, video bonus poker, video draw poker, and video blackjack. So this is 5 games in one device.
Yeah.
Whereas all of these other devices they function one game and that's it.
Yeah.
This one manages to do all 5. All on an LCD screen too, which I think is a pretty big accomplishment. This thing is the most ambitious out of all of them.
Yeah, it's just too big. And the fact that it takes 4 AA batteries means that it's really heavy as well.
Like
so you're not going to be carrying this thing like with you anywhere.
If you take this out in public with you, you mean to take it out in public with you.
The 5-in-1 is kind of cheating. 2 of the games are pretty much the same thing, like Stars and Stripes and then deluxe diamond slots. Like they really are. They're just both slot machine games. So the last one, which is the plug and play system, which was made by TechnoSource. So it is the one that has the most amount of games on it. But really, it's like my least favorite out of all of these. Like, it doesn't really have any of the charm that the other ones have.
No.
And some of the games that I don't know how to play, it's not inviting at all on like learning how to play it.
And to be fair, when you bought this on eBay, it did come out of the box. It may have come with an instruction manual on how to play these games.
I'm assuming it did. It takes 4 AA batteries, which is 4 too many. And this one cheats as well because like 2 of them are essentially the same thing, like 5-card draw and like 7-card stud. They're essentially the same games.
Yeah, or very similar.
Yeah. And then like Freestyle and Solitaire. Freestyle is just an easier version of Solitaire. So like it says it has all of these games, but it really has probably like half of what it says if you don't count the repeats, you know?
What's great about these other devices is the immediacy of it. Like you can pull these out and play them instantly. But most of the games on the plug and play they either use a cursor that is like the slowest cursor.
Yeah.
So it's either a mouse cursor or you're just locked into like choosing these 4 options. And none of it has like the instant gratification that you would want out of a gambling casino game. I don't think any of the games necessarily look bad, and some of them have some kind of cool animations like rolling the dice and dealing the cards. All of that's neat.
Yeah, but most of them is just like a green background.
Yeah,
with like
cards.
the brown layout aside from the cards.
Yeah. So I would say out of all of these, my favorite is the pocket slot, just for the simplicity of it and the fact that it's the most portable.
My favorite would be the Blackjack 21. I just like Blackjack, that's why. My least favorite is the color poker, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the screen is just, it's too dark. If you weren't outside with the sun beating over you, you could not see the screen.
Yeah.
I don't like the colors and I don't like the shape.
I would say my least favorite is probably the plug and play.
Yeah.
Just because of the lost potential there. Like, there's so much more that could have been put into it. But for like a lot of casino games that you bought off of eBay, knowing nothing about them or like who they were like developed by or like distributed by, it's like there's some good games here.
So eventually these were kind of destined to fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just by the passage of time.
Yeah, because they were going up against like Tiger Games, which were making these little LCD games for like kids and like teenagers, and I think these are obviously marketed towards like adults and stuff. Once like the Game Boy came out, and then once the Game Boy got some traction, and then like the Game Boy Color came out, like these really didn't have a chance because you could either buy this for probably $20, or you could buy a Game Boy and then buy probably poker on the Game Boy. You know what I mean?
What once was a legitimate source of entertainment became a stocking stuffer that you kind of like threw away after a bit.
I just think of like grocery store and like gas stations whenever I see something like this. Like if I had to picture where I would find one of these, it would be there.
This is in the checkout line, like on clearance, in a bin with like 500 other of them.
Yeah, but honestly, at the time, these were probably in the electronics section of like Radio Shack or like Best Buy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We don't recommend them.
Well, I mean, in the context of the time that they came out, yes, I would recommend at least like 2 or 3 of these.
Yeah, that's true.
And like as a novelty and like a trinket of an era lost to time, they are like little neat devices.
Yeah.
And the fact that somebody preserved these, you know, in the condition that they're in.
Somebody had these for what could be like 20 years and then sold them on eBay for $20.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.